Marcus Rashford. Oh, glorious! That is a special one.
I am President Chad. In the house with me, we got the man Robert and Zaire. We're supposed to be having another guest on today. Let's see if he makes it into the arena. So we're going to be talking today mainly about Manchester United players. It's transfer window time, so we need to be having a serious discussion about the players that should not be United players by the end of the season. Right? Players that we should sell, players that we should get rid of. But we want to start off the conversation with Mason Mount. Gentlemen, I need to take a little break, so I'm going to give you all the floor to deal with that. I will be right back.
All right. Well, talking about Mason Mount, apparently, we have had two bids. Chelsea has said no to both bids. Yeah. Apparently, Chelsea has valued him over $70 million, even though he only has 1 year left on his contract. I think our first initial bid, I believe, was 45, and then we came back in. Yeah, and then we came back in with 50, and Chelsea still said no. So I want to know. I mean, is Mason Mount really worth $70 million? That's the question.
Not with 1 year left on his contract. Not with 1 year left on his contract. Right? Because Chelsea, as far as we know, do not have a history of paying ridiculous wages. They might pay ridiculous money to get people, but they do have some sort of semblance of a wage structure. Right? So Mason would not be anywhere near the highest earner at the club at this point in time. Right? So with only 1 year left on his contract, they can't expect that. But it seems like every single player that we go after, people know how to hoodwink the United transfer team. Right? Blancas 2, 3, 4 times, and then we go back off a little bit, and then we'll get desperate coming to the end of the window, and we'll pay you anything you ask for.
Yes.
Because last year it happened with Anthony. It happened with Jadon Sancho before that.
Casemiro.
It happened with Casemiro. It happened with Harry Maguire. Right? So, yeah. Just string we along a little bit, and we go do whatever you want. Right? Is either that, or they simply don't want nobody mounting them unless your name's Saudi Arabian football.
Well, and
because they're giving away anybody they want.
Well, exactly. You know, and the thing is that Chelsea are selling players. They are. Because right now it is a fire sale. So if you can buy people like Ziyech for $30-something million, they're selling Koulibaly for small money. Just 2 years ago, Koulibaly was worth over $70 million. Now
Napoli tried to get 70 million from us. Yes.
Right. And then they sold him now to Saudi Arabia for chump change. So is it that Chelsea, because to me, I believe Chelsea doesn't want Mount. I believe they want to get rid of him. You know, so I think they want the highest price for him. However, I do believe that Pochettino has a place for him in case he is still here. You know, but if he has to leave, I do believe that they want the most amount of money for him, and that unfortunately, we are the only club who are dumb enough to pay that money.
Well, remember, is by us everything is friends and family, you know. So, that Luke Shaw partner,
Yeah.
And we must figure out if we get he in the door, then we could start sniffing around the Declan Rice deal. Because when the two of them tell the partner, well, hey boy, come and come the three musketeers here with me. And we go tiki taka the ball between the three of we. And we go look like Barca in a red jersey. Right?
No, because I mean,
So maybe that's what they're hoping for, but
because again, you have hit the nail on the head. We have very, very poor. We have a very poor network when it comes to transfers. It's very, very poor. We have no one there to negotiate the best price for us. It seems as because I honestly believe if City came in for Mount today, they will give they will give him to City for about 40 mil. I believe that, hands down. I think if Bayern Munich came in for him, they would say, yeah, sure, 40 mil. But because it's us,
they will sell him to Saudi.
Yeah, exactly. So, but like you said, everybody knows our negotiating skills are poor, piss poor. We have the most un-Trini people on that board. It's like we need to hire some more Trinis to go across there and finesse these guys. They need to get some lessons on how to really,
The top pipers selling in the market could negotiate better than Manchester board. Right? These sellers just completely incompetent.
As I was saying,
I honestly believe that their tactics is a spreadsheet and how much money them fellas jersey make the year before.
Yes.
And if the jersey sales are certain way, we like that. We like that.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that Mount. Yeah, I'm not saying that he won't make a good player, right? But the fact that Chelsea right now don't want him, they are willing to get rid of him. And why are we gonna spend? Because I honestly believe the way how our sale is going, I think our owners will spend 70 on Mount because he's Mason Mount. Not because it makes sense, but because he's Mason Mount. And to me, Mason Mount should not be a starter for our team. He should be a guy off the bench because every other team that is has eyes for Mount are eyeing him for the bench. They're not eyeing him to start.
He don't always start for Chelsea anyhow.
Exactly. So then why are we gonna spend this amount of money for a player that Chelsea themselves just don't want? So my question to you is, what is it that we're not seeing?
Well, Martin brings up a beautiful point that Chelsea has to balance their books by the 30th of June because the amount of money they spent in the last two transfer windows, they have to get rid of people, right? He is marketable in the sense of it is shocking that in the window where they lose Kante, Kovacic, and Ziyech, they will interpart with Mount. Right? So, maybe it's just a books balancing act by them. And when you have to balance books that you're done cooking, you have to look for a bubbly to help you. And nothing spells bubbly. In England and in football, they spell bubbly ARNOLD, right? And MURTAUGH. That's how they spell bubbly.
And again, I will keep saying, why is it that these people feel that they could come and tell us 70 mil? We offer 40, they say 70.
We have an opportunity to change the narrative around United. Because under the Ed Woodward years, Manchester United was seen as a pushover club. We were seen as a club that would overpay. I think most United supporters would agree that our last transfer window was good. right? We got Anthony. We got kind of dragged over the coals for Anthony. The other players was good. But the reality is, after we bought other players from Ajax, and Ajax did not want to sell Anthony. When a club does not want to sell a player, you have to pay for the player, right? You can't. So even though I think if anybody else had gone for Anthony, they would have get dragged over the coal same way because they did not want to sell the player. But in terms of Casemiro and everybody else, I think we we handle the scene properly. And we have to continue to change that narrative around Manchester United because the Ed Woodward years are over, right? This is not take advantage of United. You understand? Is that we living in a different time. I want to shout out Martin Phillip. I don't know if you all did it when I was not here. And we want to shout out Alex as well. Alex, we're going to be touching on this next. So hold on to your horses. We're going to be touching on this next. The one thing I want to say is this. You all would remember a week ago, the talk was Chelsea wanted 80 million pounds for Rice. For Mount. You all remember that?
Yeah.
A week ago, they wanted 80 million. United came in with a bid of 40. It was rejected. We went back in with a bid of 50. It was rejected. And we are hearing that their counter offer is 60. So we had 50. They had 60. But a week ago, they wanted 80. Now, it could be that we are benefiting from all of this Saudi money that has suddenly been flowing into Chelsea because they have sold a number of players. It could be that they realize, well, yeah, what, we're getting money from here. We don't really need to get 80 million from United. We could take less. But at the same time, there's an English player and there's an English rival. So we ain't going to give all of the player. Right? We had to play hardball. We had to show that we had some kind of balls here in Chelsea too, right? I understand that. But from the perspective that Chelsea wanted 80 and they have come down on their side to 60, whether we will pay that, whether that is the final price, whether we will meet in the middle and end up at 55 or whatever. But from the perspective that a week ago, they were saying 80, nothing less. And they have reached to 60. Do you all think at 60, Mount is a decent deal? Because I know we spoke on this channel, and at 80, nobody was interested.
No.
Including myself. Right? Nobody wanted Mount at 80. But Chelsea has taken 20 million pounds off and they reached 60. What do you all feel about 60 million?
It's too much money. I still say
it's still too much.
Because again, he has 1 year left on his contract. 1 year. And Chelsea don't want him. Now, I was telling Zahir.
Are you sure Chelsea don't want him? Chelsea has been trying to sign Mount, and Mount has rejected their offers. So it's not like they don't want him. It's more like you're not going to get him to sign a long-term deal. Right. So you have to sell him.
I believe, right, that again, it's not that they don't want him. They are willing to let him go for the best price. But they have no problem to keep him for a year. Right? Because I think they may keep him because I believe Poch has plans for him in his team and without his team. So I think if Mason stays, Poch will make a space for him. If he goes, then it's okay, But I think Chelsea wants the best price for him, So I think
before I ask Zaire, and before we go on to Rice, if we end up getting him for 55, England international, decent enough player, most importantly to me, somebody that Ten actually wants. Would you consider 55 decent?
I'll take in 55. I ain't paying more than 55.
I still say Richard Arnold needs to come to Trinidad, right? Go in Port of Spain, right? Go in the markets and learn how to bargain properly. Because I'm sure them men, right, who don't sell bottle on the road, right? The boys who come and wash your glass, right? Your car glass. I got hustled, right? A day, no like big man thing, for 5 bottles of water. 5. This man make me buy 5 water. 5. For what? Nothing. Man just come, hey boy, la 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 la. Beam. I gave him $45 in his hand. $45 for 5 water and a windscreen wipe. And I did that in the space of no more than half a minute. So you're telling me that these boys, right? If these guys could go up there and teach Richard Arnold how to, finesse the scene, we supposed to be getting Mason Mount for the most 45. For the most. And if we want to change the narrative of our team, we should be telling Chelsea, here's 50, or else we go. We should be willing to walk away. The same way how we left Harry Kane, we should be willing to leave Mount.
One of the things we have to remember or keep in mind is that when you're talking walking away, right? Because we also have to take into consideration the market.
Yeah.
Right? What the market is saying. Are we going to get a versatile attacking midfielder that is experienced in the Premier League for 55 million anywhere else? I understand you have 1 year in this contract. I understand everything that you have said, and I don't disagree with it. What I'm saying is there is a wider putting aside Mount. If you look at the market, are we going to get a player like that for that fee? Because I'm not sure that we will. And for that reason only, I really don't care for Mount. I'll be honest. I don't care for Mount. Good afternoon to Courtney on the inside. Good afternoon to Dixie. I don't care for Mount. But the manager wants him, okay. Right? But looking at it, are we going to get somebody else like that for under 55 million?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No, it's challenging.
It's
not that easy. It's not easy to answer,
Yeah. No, but
you might get somebody who's not English, and the problem is a lot of the players we looking to sell this year may well be homegrown players.
Yeah.
So you have to replenish your homegrown stock.
That is also true. And that is also true.
You have to balance the homegrown numbers.
As you bring that up,
so any English player, any homegrown player will have that added tax on them.
As you bring that up, let's jump straight into our second topic, which is Manchester United looking to steal Arsenal's rice. We don't want them fellas to even get rice to eat. We're looking to steal their rice. So, Arsenal, for those who, pay attention to real news at big clubs, so you wouldn't be aware. Arsenal has
drink your dial from a cup. No rice for you.
Arsenal already put in 2 bids for Declan Rice. They were both rejected. West Ham seemed to be very determined to get this $100 million, which is why we, United, never really went for Rice, because they were calling $100 million 2 seasons ago. They were calling it last season, and they're calling £100 million, not dollars. Still. So Arsenal went in with 2 bids. They were rejected out of hand. And now we're hearing reports that West Ham like Scott McTominay, and we know that David Moyes is a liker of Harry Maguire. So there is a lane possibly opening up for Manchester United to give a 2-player swap deal with some cash for Declan Rice. Before we get into the weeds, off the top tier, is that a deal? Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay, £30 million, 35 million pounds for Declan Rice. Is that a deal you are willing to make?
I would do it. I see 2 major stumbling blocks.
Let me just say this. I hope the reason you're saying that is not just because it's getting Harry out of the club. We need to think big picture. We need to take big
That is,
hits.
that is why I call the cherry on the top, right? But two stumbling blocks to this would be, one, the fact that we don't have an efficient, capable negotiating team to structure that and sell it the way it needs to be sold. And what I mean by that is,
Well, do we know we didn't have one before with Ed Woodward. Do we know who our negotiating team is right now? Let me do some digging into that. You go ahead with your response.
Well, you have Murto Arnold, and apparently there was some guy who took over at the end of the season who's supposed to be stepping in with them. But anywho, you have to try to convince West Ham of what the knock-on effect of getting 90 million or 100 million cash for Declan Rice would be. It would mean any replacement they try to get starts at that price. And Fulham
and actually that
has already indicated that if they come in for Paulinho, you're not 90 million, but in a hole in your pocket, and you're going to have to spend it.
That is exactly why I think this deal appeals to them.
So if you can convince them of the advantage to getting two players, right, but you need people who savvy enough to convince them of it, right? One. The second thing that I would see as a stumbling block to this is Harry's ego, because Harry will have to take a significant pay cut to go to West Ham. Now, it might be alleviated by the fact that we may have to pay off the last couple of years of his salary on his contract. But I think he has about 2 years and some left on his contract, on this current contract that he has with us. Maybe if we offer to pay off that to him, he might be more willing to go. We have to sell it to him that, hey, boy, you're going to jump high, jump low, a European trophy winning club in West Ham, something that Arsenal don't have, Tottenham don't have. You understand? So we had to massage Harry's ego a little bit, right? Maybe he might go there and Moisey could promise him captaincy, and he guaranteed to practically almost start every week, which is something Southgate has been moaning about and admitting that he can't keep starting him for England if he isn't playing regularly for his club. So it's about massaging Harry's ego in the deal too.
All right, I hear that. To touch on two things though, I agree that Harry, it would be a step down, right? Scott McTominay, looking at Manchester United midfield with Casemiro, with the way Fred has been playing, with Eriksen, with the manager saying he's looking for other midfielders, I think Scott would realize that at best, you're going to be a fringe player going forward. So for Scott, I moved to West Ham, playing next to Souček is his name. That might be good for his career. So that's good. But for Harry Maguire is a step down. But I think the reality is the coach just had to sit down with Harry and let him know you're not going to be a starter at Manchester United. This is the last season that your name is going to be associated with the captaincy, because that is, even if you stay, that's not going to be happening going forward.
Match break say, you can't tell me you're not going to be a starter. You're not playing, period.
Right? So you're going to be at an England club, an English club, and you're going to get to be in the Premier League. And you're going to be going to a place that is going to respect you. So as far as I'm concerned, Harry would see the benefit of making that step across, because staying at Manchester United, as much as wearing that crest is a badge of honor, wearing it on the bench is not helping you or your career, right? It makes a lot more sense to go and wear it, wear another crest somewhere else.
The man has proven he can play a high line.
Dixie is saying Harry Maguire for us has been a step down. And Gail preach. That is definitely the truth.
Okay.
So
listen, the man has proven he could play a high line. If you check stats for defenders as to their average positioning, Harry is ahead of everybody else in his distance from our goal. That's kind of because he usually on the bench position at about midfield. But the man playing a high line.
Robert,
Hey.
would you sell Scott McTominay, Harry Maguire, 30 to 35 million pounds for Rice? Would you make that deal?
I would do Harry, Scott, and 50 for Rice. I would. That's pretty extra because you gotta look at again what Zaire saying. You have to find somebody to finesse the deal properly. And how do you finesse the deal? Money. So if I tell you I'm giving you one English international, right?
A Scottish international.
Right. So you're getting two. So you're getting one English and one Scottish. Right? You, David Moyes, from Scotland. Look at that. Or your match. You have to you have to sell him the project, right? And then of course you have to sell Harry and more so Rice. You understand? But to me, it would make sense because you get two players and money, and we get one. So to me that is a no-brainer. But is if we have the know-how to do it, to really get it done. But I would say Harry, Scott, and 50 mil. And that is how you get things rolling from there. Because obviously, you can't come and lowball Rice because right now he is in demand. So you have to come with something that will catch them up front. And again, it's a project. You gotta sell them on the project because yes, West Ham may be a step down for Harry Maguire, but what Harry Maguire forgets is that just 2 years ago, Lingard was playing for West Ham, and he began to start for England because of his form in West Ham. His value went up because of his form in West Ham. And the thing is that West Ham right now are European champions. They are European champions. They are the
And
biggest
truth
club
be
in
told,
London.
West Ham was fighting relegation this season. And if you look at the history of West Ham, every time they have a really shitty season where they fight in relegation, the next season they do way better. They end up finishing in a European spot.
Right.
So if he would be joining West Ham at a good time.
Exactly, because remember, he joining Zuma, who is a very good defender. Scott will be again going in a very good midfield. And I'm pretty sure, and if they want, you can even show an extra guy, because I don't know who, but give them Martial on a free. So you get a striker, you get Scott, and you get Harry.
They have no strikers right now.
I am sorry. We were talking
a striker who's not a striker.
We were talking a little while ago about not letting the world know that Manchester United is prepared to pull their pants down. We shouldn't change our mind just because it's the opportunity to get rid of some deadwood, okay? Yeah. Don't get me wrong. The idea of getting rid of Martial, well, I like Scott, but Scott and Harry in one swoop is very appealing. But let's not go overboard. Yeah, let's not go overboard. Come down from there. Come down. So go ahead, Zaire.
Defense force wouldn't even take Martial on a free right now. I tell you.
Well, don't say those things out loud. You have to keep those things to yourself. We want to get rid of Martial, so we have to keep his value.
No, we say that because we know what one of them fellas, Motor and them don't know how to watch YouTube and things, so them fellas ever see this. Because they to watch YouTube, there are find videos that telling them exactly what deals to do and how to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
but the other thing with the West Ham thing here is what? Offer Harry the captaincy because they're losing their captain. Because Declan Rice is their captain. Right? So, and he's not just stepping in as some newbie. You are stepping in as the former captain of Manchester United.
And England. He was for a little while. like a match also, I think. I'm not sure.
Well, the England have a clause, right? There's a clause in Southgate's contract that Harry has to be captain. So, I mean, by default.
Right.
So let's move on to talk about Manchester United and our transfer plans. And the question I have for you all, and I want the people in the comments as well, please remember to like if you had not subscribed. I don't know why you would not be, but subscribe to the channel as well. Get other United supporters involved in the dialogue. The question is, who should United sell this window? We're looking at 5 players.
No,
So
we should sell the club first.
I would stay focused. I want you all to think about it and put in your comments. Put in the comments who are the 5 players that United must get rid of in this window, right? As we discuss it here, we're going to read out, read your opinions in the comments. I totally agree with Courtney. He says you're wicked, Zaire, for wanting to give West Ham captaincy to Harry Maguire. After the man did such a great job at Manchester United captain, you want to go and give West Ham that kind of pressure. So, Robert, we're going to start with you. Players, 5 players that we must sell at the beginning, not even of the next season. By pre-season, them fellas must even have a spot on the bench. Right? 5 players. Talk to me.
Anthony Martial is one. Unfortunately, Donny is 2. Scott is 3. Dean Henderson is 4. And even though I don't think it will happen, Harry Maguire, 5. I don't know why I feel Harry will drag on until the last day. I don't know why. I'm not sure. But I would say those 5. Because right, I think, yeah.
Let's just go over Robert's list. He has Harry Maguire, Dean Henderson, Donny van der Beek, Martial, and who was the other one?
Scott.
And Scott McTominay. Yeah. Those are 5 players that should definitely leave. We have Alex Wayne in here. He has Harry, Fred, Scott, De Gea, and Martial. So we have some overlapping there in terms of Harry, Scott, and Martial. He wants to see David De Gea gone. Let me just say this on the goalkeeping situation. My thoughts, and I will have to repeat this again because at some point we're going to get some David De Gea news in the window, right? There is strong links to him going to Saudi Arabia, or him signing a new contract at Manchester United. Something going to happen with David De Gea. So we're going to get some news at some point. My thing is, as much as I like David De Gea, my attitude was we have more important things to fix. We need 2 strikers. We need another midfielder. We need a centre-back because we need to replace Harry Maguire. So I don't think we're going to get more than 4 proper transfers this window, regardless of how fast or how whatever, the ownership situation is sorted. So I expect us to keep David De Gea simply because we're just not going to be able to have all that turnover in one window. That being said, if we really want, my thing is we have to buy quality, best in class, because our competition is City. Our competition is nobody else. And if that is the case, upgrading at goalkeeper to me is a good thing. So if we were to go for Onana or somebody else and upgrade, I have no problem selling David De Gea. But when I reach the my list, he's not going to be on it because he's just not a priority. But I'm not opposed to selling David De Gea. Let me read one more comment and then I'm going to come to you. Apparently the comments are pouring in, so I'm going to read. 3 more comments, and then we're going to go to Zaire for his list. Dixie is saying the first fire sale should be those disgusting Glazers, closely followed by Harry Maguire, Martial, Van der Beek, and Hendo. All right, cool. Again, a lot of overflow. Alex, I think concerning David De Gea is saying, we need to look at the wage bill. Clearly, if David gets a new contract at Manchester United, is going to be on reduced wages. This 350 million pounds for a guy who is not even a Spanish international is crazy to be paying that a week. So that definitely is something that has to change. Martin Phillip is saying Harry Maguire, Martial, De Gea, Henderson, and Donny. Again, a lot of overlap. And we have
look at them. I forget them.
We have Devon saying Brandon Williams. A lot of us didn't even remember that Brandon Williams is a party club. Alex Tellez, again, another person who most of us don't remember. I mean, obviously, we know he was just a loan, but, he wasn't in the news. Don Van der Beek, Anthony Martial, and number 1, Harry Maguire. I like this list. This list is very practical, and definitely everybody on that list needs to go. There's no arguing keeping anybody on that list. Everybody on that list needs to go.
But this is by preseason.
Say that again?
But this is by preseason. Correct?
Yeah, I mean, these are people we don't want to carry them. We don't want to carry them in the preseason. Even if they're still here, they mustn't be on the tour because the manager is not interested in playing all year. So all they could stay in cellophane wrap to make sure we don't have a Jones scenario where you slip in the bathroom and all of a sudden you're injured and we cast earlier. You understand? So we ain't carrying these people. The 5 names that Zaire is going to give me now are people we don't ever want to see wearing a United training kit, much less for the regular kit, ever again. So talk to me, Zaire. 5 names.
All right. So first and foremost, these are the definite ones for me. Maguire, Martial, Henderson, McTominay. The 5th will be a combination of either Brandon Williams, Alex Tellez, or Eric Bailly, because people seem to forget that Eric Bailly is still under contract at this club. Right? So those 3 will make up my 5th. Why not Donny van de Beek? 1, I have a soft spot in the heart for Donny. 2, there is no market for Donny right now because he's been injured and out since January. So if we're trying to get anything for Donny, we should at least give him till next year, January's window. Give him time to get fully fit, see if Eric could get a tune out of Donny between now and January. Because Bruno going to need rest. Bruno can't continue at the pace Bruno has been going at. And if Eric could get Donny approaching something that looks marketable, we can look for a good move for him in January. So I'm not saying he has to stay here long too. Give him a 6 months to catch a length and see what we could get for him. Because right now, I don't think we'll get anything for him. And with David De Gea, correct me if I'm wrong, but they did not trigger the 1-year extension on his contract because everybody sort of took it under locks that he was going and signing the new contract. So therefore, if he leaves when his contract expires in a couple of weeks' time, he's leaving on a free. We will get nothing. So we can't sell him if he's not under contract. If we go to try and sell him a couple of weeks before he contract up, we have nothing to get. And he can't sign a contract and then be sold. Right? So as much as I understand we need to move on, we can't sell him. We, if he leaves, it's not that we're selling him. It's that he refusing to sign his contract and he busting out for free. So we lose it either how. And we're going to have to find 50 million to get a keeper.
It's not necessarily that he refuses to sign a contract. There could be mutual agreement. I think Manchester United correctly hasn't triggered the 1 year. Because if they trigger the year, it is going to be on the present wages. We're not interested in paying those wages. Yeah, so if we trigger the year and he decides that he is going to stay, Whether he is on the bench or he plays, we have to pay those wages. Right? So the club has decided here we're going to negotiate a new contract. And so far, from all indications, those negotiations have been held in good faith. David has indicated he's willing to take reduced wages. If another club comes in for him, that is a very interesting thing. Would trigger the year to get a fee from them, because if he waits, he could go for free, right?
Yeah,
this situation with David De Gea is fluid, and that is why I said when somebody mentioned David De Gea before that you are going to hear news about David De Gea within the next 2 weeks. Whether he's at United, whether his career is elsewhere, you have to hear something about David De Gea because his contract is running out. There's a limited time for the club to activate his 1 year extension, and there is interest from elsewhere. Right. So we are going to definitely be talking about David De Gea soon.
That's my 5 list there, right? I am just sad to see that if it is we lose this man on a free, right? I would be very sad because I think there is value for him, right? We can talk from now till the cows come home about his issues with his feet and distribution. To me, that doesn't take away from the fact that the man is still a top goalkeeper and still has very good years left ahead of him. Right?
Of course, goalkeepers are not like other players. They hit in their prime now.
Right? He still has some time where he goes, and if he goes to the right team and the right system, where he is not required to play out from the back as much or distribute as accurately as he needs to, then you're going to see a different side of him. But I would love it if after everything he has done for United and represented for United, being the last Premier League winner on the club roster as it stands, he should be worth more than just saying, here, what fella? Thanks, bye-bye, and rock so.
I hear you. I hear you, but at the same time, I'm not that sentimental anymore when it comes to footballers. I appreciate what David would have done, and at the end of the day, the money we would save on wages, it wouldn't be equitable to a transfer fee that we may have to pay for a new keeper, but it's still a saving. Martin is asking, do you think David De Gea will take reduced wages and be number 2? And the simple answer to that is no, which is why I don't see if David De Gea stays, we buying a goalkeeper.
Yeah,
I just don't see it.
Number two to me says, bro, you not play no Premier League game. All you play is Carabao Cup. That is what the number 2 goalkeeper says to me. If you tell me he's staying on a reduced wage and playing on a rotation where he doesn't have to do this week in, week out, because remember, we in Champions League, right? So we're going to have a big schedule. We'll be in all the cups, right? So if it is you negotiate with the man and say, here's what, David, we know it's getting to the point where we may have to move on from you. We have to get one of the young keepers to come through. If we're looking at the Nathan Bishop or the whoever is under 23 keeper, or we manage to buy somebody and get them in, how you feel about this reduced workload? I mean, you're still going to be having the bulk of the Premiership, right? You're going to have you in Champions League because one of the things from your resume.
I am sorry, Zahir. As nice as that sounds, Ten Hag is about winning games.
Yeah, we know that.
If we get a goalkeeper that we feel is going to position us in a better place to win than David De Gea, what are we rotating David De Gea for? For feelings? Because we don't want to lose him for free. I don't see that. It sounds good. It sounds good. I just don't. If we get another goalkeeper that is able to work within the system and execute the manager system, I don't see no set of rotation. I am sorry. So if David stays, he had to play.
Show me where you're getting the between 50 and 60 million Because that's what we got to
Exactly.
fork out for either
Exactly.
either
So if
Onana
David
or
stays,
Diego Costa.
right, if David stays, he had to play. It's as simple as that. If
Okay.
David stays, we are not going for another number one. We may go for a number two keeper. But if he stays,
I think we could
he
all
has to-
agree that whether he stay or he go, it has no way Dean Henderson coming back in this club.
Correct, without a doubt. So let me give my list, and then we're going to jump straight into our fun segment of the week. The Brandon Williams, the Alex Telles, Donny van der Beek are all people that we expect to be out. Eric Bailly as well. These are people we don't expect to ever wear United shirts again. So let's deal with the players that we see on the pitch, or at least on the lineups regularly. I don't know if we ever mentioned it on the channel before, but Zidane Iqbal has been sold for $1 million to a club from Belgium. So he is not going to be wearing a United shirt going forward. So Harry Maguire is number one on my list. Anthony Martial has to be number two, because this was Anthony Martial's season to show that what he could bring to the table. And at the beginning of the season, he looked well, but it was a season plagued by injuries. And when he came back, he really was not the races. And we don't need that kind of player. We need somebody who is reliable. I would like to see, those are the two players I would like to see the back of. Right? Anybody else on this list here on out, and Henderson, those three players. The other two players are not players I would like to see the back of, but I think need to go. And that would be Scott McTominay. I think Scott McTominay is not going to develop anymore as a United player. And nobody called his name, but he is definitely on the list for me, depending on what we get in the attacking sphere. And that is Jadon Sancho. Because we have Ahmad, we have Pellistri. And these two youths are showing the kind of aggression and the kind of quality. As far as I'm concerned, Garnacho has already entrenched himself in the team. He has a senior contract. We just renewed his contract. So I didn't even mention him. We have Ahmad, we have Pellistri that we bought, interestingly enough, to appease the fans when we did not get Jadon Sancho. His first season when we went for him. Interestingly enough, that is when we bought those guys. They are now showing me more hunger and more aggression than Jadon Sancho. And I think Jadon Sancho needs to watch out. He may find himself on the chopping block if his performances don't improve drastically. So those would be my five.
There's only one thing saving Jadon right now.
What's that?
The only thing that is saving Jadon right now is that to this point, he is the only one who can play on either wing.
Correct.
All the others have shown marked preferences for either right side or left side.
And as much as it was helping him before, it's not going to help him anymore because Ahmad and Pellistri playing on the right.
Well, it can.
And we have Garnacho and Rashford playing on the left. So it's like, do we need you?
So if you're looking at it realistically, he's third choice on the left. And he is definitely behind Anthony on the right. Right? And either Ahmad or Pellistri could slot in as the second option.
Men coming up in the wings that's showing the aggression, because to me,
and
Jadon is good on the ball.
We are even talking about Anthony.
Jadon is good on the ball. Jadon is good with connecting play. But the challenge for Jadon is that he is not aggressive. He doesn't run at people. He is not dominating that wing. And when you look at the footage of Ahmad on his loan, when you look at Palestri when he's come on the pitch and played for Manchester United, these guys were running at people. Garnacho were running at people on the left-hand side. Rashford were running at people. This is what the manager wants. And unless Jadon can up his game, I think we may be hearing about him before the end of the window as well. Let me just read this comment and then we're going to head on to our next segment. I feel sorry for Sancho because when we bought him from Dortmund, we loved his style of play on the right side of the pitch. But when he came to United, he was playing out of position for his first few games. Yeah, sometimes people get a bad draw. We could say the same about Donny van de Beek. I don't think any United supporter is happy to see Donny go because we know that there's a good player there. We just never got. We never got it. We never got to see it in a United jersey. But that's how football goes. You know, that's just how life goes sometimes. Things don't just work. Things don't always work out the way that we would hope they would. So we're heading in. Now let's talk about the memes of the week. It's time to laugh, fellas. It's time to laugh. It's time to have some fun. So we are going to be heading into this new segment called Memes of the Week. Let me just line up my slides. And we will be off. So here we go. Why is my memes not coming up? Okay, there we go. Speed meeting Ronaldo got more hype than Manchester City winning the treble. No, I know we take a lot of shots at Manchester City on this show, but I think this meme is funny because it's true. Right? This meme is funny because it's true. Outside of the internet, an English club, only the second one in the history, won a treble, and the internet wasn't even close to breaking. You know what I mean? It wasn't like you know.
Yeah, there was that old man walking through City Parade in a 1999 Manchester United treble winning jersey. That man is a legend, boy.
No, but you have to remember, right? Speed's journey to meet Ronaldo, right, is 3 years in the making. This is a big deal. It's 3 years now. This man and Ronaldo is a journey. It's like, you know, it's like Ash Ketchum and Pokemon. Man, catch them all. It's a big deal. You know, it's a big deal.
All right, so let's move on to meme number 2. Football fans, Chelsea have a lot of deadwood. Nobody will buy them. Bully, that's where the Saudis come in. For people who know the characters on this meme, they would understand the meme. For those who don't know the show, that this meme comes from a show on Netflix. Bank Heist, I think is the name of it. Well, you mightn't get it. But there's a lot of seriousness because underlying this meme, because you had Gary Neville bringing up, saying that he thinks all the transactions between Chelsea and any Saudi Arabian club buying Chelsea players should be investigated. Because we're hearing now that the consortium that bought Chelsea has a 20% stake owned by Saudi. So there's a Saudi group that owns 20% of Chelsea. So in a way, it comes like if Money Heist, sorry, not Bank Heist, Money Heist, thank you, Adrian, is the name of the show. So
look at Kurt's comment.
That's interesting. I actually never thought about that.
I didn't either, but now I'm thinking about it, and he's not wrong.
I didn't, that very interesting comment there. I didn't think about that before, for real. And yes, Adrian Money Heist is the name of the show, where this picture has come from. So I don't know if the Premier League is going to investigate now or after, but it does seem to be a little conflict of interest, simply because why would you not? So because Saudi or some Saudi arrangement owns 20% of Chelsea, right? They own 80% of Newcastle. So if Chelsea play Newcastle at a critical game and there's a questionable penalty or something, a player looks like, you just do something blatant, what are we going to jump up on board? Or because, this team selling guns because they want this team to get the 3 points or that kind of thing. There's a slippery slope that I'm not sure we really want to go down in football at this point in time. But at the same time, you can't ignore the fact that it does seem very strange that Chelsea needs money to set themselves right where financial fair play is concerned. And all of a sudden, the hottest players on the market for Saudi Arabia are Chelsea players. It does seem a little coincidental. What say you, Robert?
Yep. Yeah. It's it sounds a little bit suspect. So.
Boy, that real man will be vexed with you for this comment, Courtney. I know men about the money, but I can't see how internationals in their prime go into a backwater league. That backwater league is where Ronaldo is, boy.
No.
Fanboys who have a problem with you.
I will say this, right? You can't remember a footballer's career, a good one, a medium one is about 5-6 years, maybe 10 if you're lucky. So you have 10 years. So if you are at year number 6, you have about 4 more years left. And a man offer you, right, a 400 grand a week for the next 3 years. Why would you say no to go and do a play for who? I mean, okay, if you have a choice, now look at Mendy at Chelsea. He won the Champions League 3 years ago, right? And now he's going there. Because if it was me, do I play for this badge and collect a 150, maybe 2, or do I go to Saudi Arabia, right, and play in Dubai once a week and collect my 500 grand a week and benefits? I mean, you can't get mad, I mean, to me, you can't get vexed. It's the money. I will do it too. Tomorrow morning, I will do it. If you tell me, Robert, we will pay you to do your work, we pay you 500 grand a week, I will tell my job, Fireborn Youth, Charlie will never see me again. You will never see me again on the show, ever. You gotta pay me money now to come and see me. You understand?
Well,
I
would do it. I would do it too, but I would come back on the show because I am of the right religious persuasion where I could go there and get my 3 wives and have everybody all happy. And so I making sure all your fellas a little jealous and salted when I come back on the show with entourage. You understand?
Oh boy.
Zaire, I don't really have a question for you. You have any statements concerning this meme?
Bro, I hear talk that them same people who buy Newcastle own the top 4 teams in that league.
No, it's not talk. It's a fact.
Right? So anytime you start to go down them realms, partner, all I hear in my head is conspiracy theories and ratchet. Right? So
because really actually it just boggles anybody's mind that one entity is not a person, but one group, one business could own 4 clubs in the same league. That just sounds crazy.
To me, that stinks of possible match fixing, collusion, all sorts of things to be going on there. Insider trading, it stinks of it, it lends the perception of it. And why do that? Why put yourself in that bubble, baby? You see me?
All I have to say to the Ronaldo fanboys are that I expect Ronaldo to win the league every season for the next set of times he playing in Arabia. Because there's no way he is still the biggest star they have over there. And you can't hire a biggest star coming second and third. Right? When you're only top 14.
I don't think to them it matters, To him, it matters to him because he wants to win. But to them, they don't care,
They don't care who wins.
You don't
As
care
long as the
Them
league
fellas,
getting attention.
them fellas going and organize the most lucrative, money-making, friendly fixture in the preseason for every year now. It's going to be Al Nassr versus Inter Miami. And the only problem is that game can't play in America because half of Al Nassr team can't get visa to go in the States.
Fellas are internationals, they will get visa. And one thing America not worried about is them overstaying their time. All of them want to go back because they're making more than enough money. So yeah, none of them want to stay in the US. It's not Cuba. Nobody want to stay. Everybody want to go back home. So that is nice too. Good afternoon to Alan on the inside. So we're looking to get into our last meme. This meme is just for viewing purposes. Don't expect anybody to make any comments on this meme, but for people in Trinidad and Tobago and other Caribbean islands that are struggling with the curriculum that is proposed teaching for the youth, this meme should strike home. For all of us here at the United Hour, it is always a pleasure to share our time with you. It is a pleasure for you to give us your time. Remember, Red Devils don't die. We multiply. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned. Enjoy the rest of your week, people. Be safe. And hey, they talk about, it's not Skittles. Which one of those stuff did they say follow the rainbow?
Skittles, yeah.
Taste the rainbow, Skittles.
Yeah.
It's Skittles, taste the rainbow. It have one with some one of them cereals. I think
Lucky Charms.
Lucky Charms that say follow the rainbow.
Yeah. Lucky Charms, yeah.
So Lucky Charms theme is follow the rainbow. And my advice to you is try not to eat Lucky Charms.